Yo, what is going on, buddy? Welcome to game two of my chess tournament in April 2026. So let's just jump right into it. This game, we are up against a very, very strong opponent. His last name is apparently translated to fork, which is pretty cool. And he told me he is 1900 chess.com against my 1300 chess.com. So I didn't know this going into the game, which is good because I played pretty confidently. But he told me after the game, and it was quite interesting to have played a 1900. So let's just see. So today we are having the white pieces. So obviously we can do our usual usual Vienna. Sorry, not Caro-Kann. What am I saying? The usual Vienna opening. So let's kick things off with e4, e5. So already when he played e5, I felt pretty confident because if I just get a decent Vienna game going, there's like no chance of me losing. Knight c3, the Vienna game has started. Knight f6. He is enabling me to play one of my favorite lines, which is the Vienna Gambit. So obviously I opt for it immediately. It is not a good move to take. He goes d6, which is not a terrible move by any stretch of the imagination, but the most critical line would be d5, striking into the center. In fact, I'm going to show you guys the main line. So it's going to be d5, pawn takes, knight takes, and here the top engine move is either knight f3 or queen f3. But queen f3 is the it's considered the third engine move, but here it shows the top engine move. It doesn't matter. Queen f3 is the move that is preferred by Gotham Chess, the person who popularized this opening. And then the game proceeds something like this, and you get a big white center, and black is struggling in development. They have to go like c5 or something. So it's a very dynamic game, and it's obviously going to be in my comfort zone. But my opponent plays d6, which is still in my comfort zone because I know to play knight f3, bishop g4. Bishop c4 is not one of the good moves. In fact, bishop e2 was better, but bishop c4 gives me, all the shenanigans. I think it was quite nice. Then knight c6, and I attack his bishop. It's all very normal. He took my knight. I took back on the queen, and now I have this discovery on this f7 pawn if I ever plan to open this line. So here my opponent plays bishop c7, preparing to castle. I castle first, then he castles. And now this is no longer a threat, but it could be something fruitful in the future. Well, I play d3, just defending this pawn, letting this bishop out, getting some breathing room. He plays a6. I don't know what that move does, but it's definitely not one of the good moves. I slide my bishop back. Now, apparently the engine did not like this. It liked me to go a4, a3, knight to e2. Knight e2 does make some sense. I mean, just rerouting it to this square. This square is a very juicy square that I definitely would like to try to put my knight there, because it would like if the knight was here, it would attack this with the queen lining up on this as well. And if I push this pawn, I can also bring my bishop somewhere over here, which is going to be devastating for my opponent. But instead I slid my bishop back. I did not want to be attacked by anything. He goes here, which is quite normal. I slid my queen to g3. Not the best move in the world, but going back to d1 is just insane. He took my bishop. I took back with the a pawn, obviously, so that I opened up my rook. And he took this, which I feel like e takes f4 was not a very good move, but apparently it is the second top engine move. I took with the queen here. Apparently queen f3 is better than queen takes f4. So during the game, I consider bishop takes, rook takes, and queen takes. Rook takes is really bad because of this. I did see in the game. Same with this, knight h5, but not as bad. But I mean, this bishop is definitely much better than this bishop. So keeping the bishop on the board is very fundamental to me. So as I go the queen, he slid his queen up. I brought my rook. I'm looking to do some nasty stuff over here to the king. He goes here. I just slide back. He moves his king here, and I feel like that was a mistake because this pawn is now extremely weak, but I did not play very critically. Like, I could have moved the bishop here so I can double stack the rook, which is exactly what the engine said. I did not look at it when I said that, by the way. Like I know this plan is it's a very popular way to play this position. So, but I didn't do that. I moved 92 and now I'm trying to put my knight here, which is again a very reasonable plan. But the opponent slid his queen over here for some reason. I think at this point is where it gets a little bit weird because I'm trying to show you guys the exact position, but I don't exactly remember the correct position here. So unfortunately, we'll have to make do with this, and I hope you guys don't mind. I went knight here to go to f5. He goes c5 to kick my knight out, which just plays right into my hands because I want to go here anyway. Now, he goes h6, which is a terrible move. Um, but I didn't know that then. Apparently here I can sack on g7 and it would have been devastating for my opponent, but don't know that. So I slid my queen up here, and now I have this battery going in here and also options to go here later once I kick this knight out. He moved this knight back, which is a very, very bad move, and here I released the dynamite strike, knight takes g7, which is a blunder. But during the game, I spent 3 minutes. Usually, I never spend 3 minutes waiting on moves, but here I thought about sacrificing, all this. I calculated all of this, and I decided that knight takes g7 seems devastating. This is my defense. So knight takes g7, like you have to take, like you have to. If you don't take, you lose. So you took, and then I would check and he would go here, and then I would, do some nasty stuff like this, and then I would take this, and then, like, look how I have three attacking pieces, and he has like one. There's one defensive piece. But the thing is, after the rook to g8, like, I have to trade the rook, or like I have to move it back, and then, he gets this rook into the game, and it actually does not work the way I intended. So this was a huge blunder, which threw away all of my advantage. My opponent was playing well until he made some small errors and allowed me to sacrifice. It's just devastating. I know, like when he equalizes, I'm just so depressed. I give him a check anyway. He goes here. I took this pawn. He goes back, and obviously I don't want to trade because I'm down material. So they did the logical thing to just slide my rook back to f3. He goes rook c6 to chase my bishop away. I decide that I want to give him a discovery attack, which as a 1900 you probably would see the threat. So he goes knight to h7, probably the only good move. Apparently knight to g8 is also good, but he probably didn't want to get discovered. So he went there. I have to slide my queen here because the bishop was discovering my queen, and then he attacks my queen, and I have to slide back. It takes. Can't take with the queen because it would relinquish defense of the bishop, although I could have taken the queen. Why did I take with the g-pawn? Yeah, nothing's attacking that. Okay, sorry. He checks me, and here, this is another key moment. So I can go to these squares right here, but if I slide here, which I think is like in a normal circumstance, it would be very helpful, because I can slide my rook over and my king is like behind a lot of pawns, which is quite safe. But in this case, if I do this, I get bishop h4, and then I have to move my king once again, and whichever move I do, he brings his queen in, and I'm just toast. So I evaluated the situation correctly and went king to h2, the top engine move, and then my opponent forced a bishop trade, which obviously I have to take. Takes. I go f4. He moves his queen back, and then I still try to do some pawn play, but being down a piece for 2 pawns. I mean, it's in probably a GM can hold it, but I'm just not to that level. So I just kind of shuffle things around a little bit, so this move is a blunder, obviously, but I think it's just me trying to set up the position. So like we just try and set it up, and then this move happens, and then, I just slide it here, making sure the knight can't move. And he takes this. This is a mate in one, but don't mind it. It's not actually made in one here in the game. It's just like something similar to this. He did not hang mate. Like a 1900 hanging mate is just not something you would see every day. So I slid my queen back, and then he becomes really active, and then black won because I'm gonna show you guys what I'll roughly show you guys what happened. So we got down to like some sort of end game. Can I let me just do a board editor, maybe new analysis. Okay, set a position. Now I'm gonna clear the board. Oh, I can't quite clear the board. Okay, let's just get rid of everyone. And then I can show you guys roughly what happened here. Okay, goodbye everyone. So I think like I had my king here. He has his rook here and a knight here. Here's my last oh, no, didn't mean to do that. Here's my last pawn. Why is it? Okay. All right. Here's my last pawn, and then his king is like here. So if is it white to move? It's just very interesting. Okay. Let's load this. Yes. So, oh, not white to move, sorry. Not white to move. Um, so the point is, I took his knight because like so the actual thing was that I went here to fork his rook and his knight, but he moved his rook here to take this pawn. So I did this and this, and then I still played on until checkmate because I did not know his rating back then. I was like, what if he's like a 500? Like, does he know how to checkmate with a rook and a king? He probably doesn't. And then he starts doing all the cool techniques, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm getting mated. So I try to drag the game on for as long as possible, but I know that it would never hit the 50 move rule. So unfortunately, I had to concede a loss in the second game to a 1900 player. He was very smug, which is really annoying. I don't like it when just be modest. Just win, smile, but whatever. But like he just looks like he knows that he's the winner, which is really annoying. So again, it's whatever. I lost the second game. I can still bounce back. There are four more games to go, and there are one more game in on Saturday that I played. So I'm gonna show you guys that game next in the next video. So see you guys then. Goodbye.